Americans will now have broadcast television from local stations at work, at play, and on the way. Coming to local stations in top markets, live and local news, sports, weather, and traffic, plus your favorite television shows. Mobile digital television. Never miss a minute.
And these are very important players. Anybody who's ever worked in local news has definitely heard of some or all of them, but you can specifically use an example of what we call the other business network. My alumnus, CNBC. Let's talk about sort of the application that you envision.
That's right. Our technical team at NBC and CNBC, leveraging our Telemundo affiliate in Las Vegas, KVLR, is doing a special version of Telemundo, but a specifically formatted CNBC channel just for this show. So when you're out on the floor, or maybe even afterwards, you can see the channel that's been created just for the show for Mobile DTV.
Okay, I want to get to Dave Lougee because rolling it out starts with testing. You can't just throw it out there and then it doesn't work and people get upset that they put out the money for these products. So let me get to David. You're going to be doing the next level of testing with the devices out in Atlanta and Seattle. That's the big announcement.
That's right, Liz. The coalition decided to use 2 stations in each of those markets so that our broadcast equipment makers and the consumer device partners, our partners on both sides of that equation, can work with us to get it running smoothly. In Atlanta, our Gannett station along with Brandon Zion's station will participate, and then in Seattle, Palm TV from Belo and Como TV from Fisher will take part, and we'll get it going.
Colleen, it would be so easy to say, we're not so sure how this is going to work, let's go, Bluefield, Mississippi, or Little Rock, Arkansas, not necessarily the tiniest of markets, but these aren't the hinterlands. You're picking the big names out there. Why?
Well, I think it's important to test in all sorts of markets, and that's why we're testing the top 10 and the top 20 markets, and testing for all sorts of spectrum conditions.
What do you think specifically you're going to learn from testing in the big markets? Is it because you think that technologically these are the places that can maybe handle this type of rollout?
Yes, absolutely. There are so many different conditions in testing in those markets, terrain-wise, geographically, distances, etc. There are many different conditions to be considered.
I want people to know that Dave and Colleen were the station group owners that really got out in the forefront, and specifically why, Dave, and then Colleen, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Was it important for you to get in on Mobile DTV right off the bat, at a time, I might add, where there are enough stresses out there in local news and general news when you're talking about revenues falling off a cliff at the moment? It's very difficult, but why was it important to jump on this? JP first.
Well, obviously, mobile television is undeniably part of the future. We need to make it part of our future. This is a great way to engage our consumers in new and deeper ways, and there's obviously a parallel great opportunity for our advertising partners to reach those same consumers in new ways. So we've really got to engage in it. Under Brandon's leadership, this group has done a fantastic job getting to the standard, and now really now's the time to really build on the momentum.
Colleen?
Well, I think things are moving very quickly, and I think it's real important as broadcasters that we focus on getting up to speed and experimenting and getting some experience with this kind of solution as quickly as possible before we flip the switch in the fall.
Okay, I know though that we have all seen new things jump out there, and here's where it gets a little hairy, and the question becomes, is this something that we take the time to adopt? I mean, who among us doesn't remember Betacam versus VHS? We know VHS won. We of course remember, I remember back Ikegami cameras versus Panasonic M2s, and then Sony Betacams. M2 was left by the roadway. So, you do take a chance jumping out in front here. And so I'm just wondering, Dave, in that vein, elaborate on what you would see in the first showcase market. What will I get off of something like this?
Well, consumers in the DC market are going to be the first to experience an over-the-air broadcasting experience on those devices that you'll see today. We're adding partners each week, but so far we've got NBC with WRC, we've got Fox, Gannett, Ion, as well as 2 PBS stations.
Okay. You just mentioned the devices. What we have for you guys in the audience is some of the devices on the screen, on the table here, but we also are able to show them to you on the screen. 2 companies have been working with Mobile DTV since even before OMVC, the Open Mobile Video Coalition, even got together. So these are the real people at the forefront here, and those are LG Electronics and Samsung. You both have developed these key technology parts, whether they're chips or the actual technology to deal with this. You've been strong members of the OMVC and the NAB, thankfully. You've been very committed to having the devices available for consumers. Rast, I'll get to you first because I'm holding the LG in my hand. And again, right now I'm watching a commercial, but can you imagine the NHL playoffs? Not a lot of hockey fans here. Go Rangers, go Penguins. We support on my Queens in LA, I know, poor things. Let's talk specifically about developing this technology. What have you got? How does it work?
Well, first of all, we'll show you a couple products. Liz is holding the LG Maze. We took 3 cell phones that we make for the carriers, and we modified them to include ATSC Mobile DTV so that you could get a feeling for what it's about. So the LG Maze is a touch screen, it's a GSM phone. We also have the LG Voyager, which you may have seen before. This has got a QWERTY keyboard in it. This is a CDMA phone. And the third phone that we just debuted at the CTIA a few weeks ago is the LG Lotus. So it also has a keyboard, and it's a clamshell phone. So the phones have been very well received, but a product that we're going to be introducing at the end of the year that we're very excited about is a DVD player that has built-in ATSC mobile, and that's this right here. Now, we've also been working with some other manufacturers to give them the parts and help them in building their own products. So automotive entertainment systems, PCs and laptops and netbooks, and devices like PDAs. And at the show here, we're announcing that we're going to go into mass production with the ICs in June, and those ICs will be available to the industry. So we're trying to stimulate the marketplace with many manufacturers.
John Godfrey of Samsung, let me bring you in here. You guys have yet to really develop the devices to show for us, but give us a preview of what you're planning and explain to us how your products will look.
You bet, Liz. Well, first, I'm really glad to be here, to be one of the sponsors of this event. We, along with LG, were the original proponents of this technology to be ATSC and have worked together and gotten a lot of great stuff done. I'm sorry I don't have toys to show you today. The engineers are hard at work. Development is full speed ahead. I can tell you the kind of products that we've shown in previous trade shows using an earlier version of the technology, and it's built-in car entertainment systems, portable TVs, mobile phones, which everyone is very excited about, laptop computers, and mini netbooks. And all of these kinds of products make sense for mobile DTV. And Liz, I just want to make one point about this. It's exciting about the new standard. Even if all we had done is take digital TV and put it in these portable devices, that would be really exciting. There's actually more to it than that. The standard also supports interactivity. And from the beginning, these devices are going to have the capability to run interactive applications. And if you think about these great devices here and the things that are going to be coming into the market, that what sets them apart from what's in the living room, besides being movable, is that consumers are used to interacting with them. They're used to interacting with a keyboard on a computer or a touchpad on a phone. I think this is going to open the door to new business models for broadcasters, not just to reach people on devices when they're outside the home, but reach them with new services that are interactive.
If I'm hearing you correctly, it works both ways. You could, for example, vote on American Idol, or So You Think You Can Dance. You can just touch the screen. It works in that way, or are you talking audience measurement?
Automated audience measurement is certainly one of the things the broadcasters are looking at, and it's entirely supportable with the standard.